Well, welcome, friends. My name's Rob Brown, and I'm a realtor here. I serve the people of the Fredericton and surrounding areas. Today, we're going to talk about three home projects that you feel confident tackling yourself, and three home projects that you should outsource. Have you ever done a project at home and had it go exactly the way you planned it to? Great. But that's not very often the way home improvements go. For example, I got to share this funny little story about Erica and I painting our son's room this past month. While I was on a chair cutting in along the wall and the ceiling, Erica was down on the floor cutting along the baseboard trim in the wall. Well, she placed the paint tray under the chair that I was standing on, and of course, when I stepped down, I stepped right into the paint. While we had a good laugh, no one was hurt, but it reminds me as to why I normally hire a pro to do any work at my home, and likely will do so moving forward. So we've got some myths here. The three most common mistakes that home buyers make when it comes to tackling DIY projects or do-it-yourself projects are this: not applying for the right building or renovation permits, not budgeting appropriately or choosing to go the cheap route, or three, working well beyond their skill level. Here's the truth. With popular home shows like Flip or Flop, Fixer Upper, or Hometown, it's not hard to imagine how some of the industry's most creative interior designers and flippers have inspired homeowners across the country to upfit their homes with the most modern trends. And while modern vintage lighting and evolved cabinetry and matte black faucets are all in high demand right now in Fredericton, it's not in everyone's best interest to leave some of, sorry, to, it's not in everyone's best interest to leave some of the more advanced, painstaking, and potentially dangerous projects to licensed professionals. So step number one, permitting is enforced for a variety of reasons, but it's primarily enforced as a safety measure. In the Fredericton market, as a rule of thumb, you're going to need to apply for a building permit or renovation permit when dealing with things like plumbing, electrical, roofing, and other related projects. Not applying for the right building permit or renovation permit might not only be dangerous, but it may also impact your insurance coverage. When submitting your proposed project to the City of Fredericton or the Rural Planning Office, depending on where you live in the area, you'll most commonly need to have the following materials prepared. You'll want to have maybe architectural renderings or a drawing of the project to show the scope of work. You're also going to want to talk about the timelines that are associated with the work, and of course, the costs of the project. Step two, it doesn't take a genius to imagine how a simple project with a reasonable budget can get out of hand fast. Here's a perfect example: kitchens and baths. These are projects that can quickly get out of hand, and costs associated with changes can escalate rather quickly if not planned for properly. It goes without saying that failing to take the time to work through a realistic budget can cost you plenty of cash in the long run. Step three, just because your favorite HGTV personalities make particular projects look simple doesn't mean they actually are simple. Any contractor will tell you there are many obstacles and unforeseen circumstances that go on behind the scenes in any one of those hour-long segments. Working beyond your skill level can be both extremely dangerous and costly. Step four. To recap, if you're unsure of whether or not to apply for a permit, consult with an experienced realtor. As a rule of thumb, when dealing with plumbing, electric, roof, etc. related projects or renovations. So, sorry, this is my first time doing this, but I just want to say, on the other hand, there's projects like replacing a sink, a faucet, replacing exterior doors, or laying new flooring that do not require permitting and can be completed with limited experience and resources and within a reasonable amount of time. So, to counter some objections, while some of us want to take on the project ourselves because of maybe cost or we think we can do it. Um, we want to make sure that we connect with a professional and understand their skill level versus our skill level as a homeowner, because you might find yourself in danger. You might find yourself in debt, and you might find yourself with irreparable damage. My personal recommendation is to consult with a contractor or designer. And remember, as a full-time realtor, I'm here to advise on what projects will net you a better return on investments over others. So at this point, um, you may be convinced that you may need some guidance around which home improvements or DIY projects that you want to leave to the pros. But you may also be thinking you have no idea where to start. If you're thinking about completing any projects or renovations, I can help you through the process. Just send me a message or text at 506-471-4526. No pressure, no sales tactics, just the help and guidance that you need. Finally, if you're a resident in the capital region, I want to let you know that I have this Facebook page. It's a free group. It's for members of our community. It's called Rob Brown, your go-to expert for Fredericton and surrounding area. It's a great place to join a strong tribe of Fredericton, Hanwell, New Maryland, Oromocto, Nassau, Douglas, Keswick, and beyond. People all over the place. Residents who can quickly get information about what's going on and events and activities and what's happening in and around town. So if you're interested in joining, I'll make sure that I put a link in the description below so that you know what's going on there. And at this time, this is a live interactive video. I don't know how many people are watching or any of that stuff. I don't really know how to do this very much, so I'm just kind of winging it. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in the box. If you want to leave them after, because if you're joining me live, you can post them now. Otherwise, put them in the chat box. I'll be rejoining, this video later, and then I'll make sure that after the live stream, I'll answer any questions that come through. So yeah, in conclusion, I just want to say thanks for joining me today, and I'll definitely see you in the next episode. I hope to do one of these every week. Just wanted to be informative about things that are going on in the community, about things such as home renovation and things like that. Oh, I see we've got maybe a question here from Andrew about radon. I don't know if it's a question, Andrew, or just a link, but we'll make sure that we get to that, because yeah, radon is something that maybe in a future episode I'll touch base on. Real quickly, there's 2 tests right now. There's a 3-day test and there's a 90-day test. The 90-day test is the recognized one. So yeah, that's a great one, Andrew. I'll make sure that I get to that in a future episode, because it's really important. It's something that is certainly occurring in our area. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to fire them out there now. But again, I want to invite you to my group. Rob Brown, your go-to expert for Fredericton surrounding region. If you've got questions about home renovations like we just talked about, remember I'm here to help you out. Again, no pressure, no sales tactics, just honest to goodness recommendations, and see if we can help you with those decisions to what to do, what not to do. And in any case, thanks a lot for joining me today, and hope you all have a wonderful and productive day.